going on, guys? So if you're new here to the channel, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications. That way you never miss out on any of the Naruto lore discussions that take place between the 1st of the month and the 14th of the month. However, with that being said, we're going to get into today's installment of Sasuke Jinraiden. And if you're new here and you have no idea what Sasuke Jinraiden is, go to the homepage of the YouTube channel, go down to the Naruto novel section and click on the playlist that is titled Sasuke Jinraiden, because from here onward, I'm going to assume that you are all caught up with the story and you know everything that happened prior to this. So getting right into it, in today's edition of Sasuke Jinraiden, we have a very interesting set of moments right here. So as Sasuke is entering into the village, one of the things that we're seeing here is that Sasuke, as he's walking through, he's seeing on one hand how Itachi had several things around him that reminded him of the Hidden Leaf Village, and that's making Sasuke's anger grow very subtly. But we're also seeing some of the experience that Sasuke was able to pick up from being in Orochimaru's care, because there have been several poisonous flowers and herbs that have been sprinkled all across the road that Sasuke's seen as he's made his way to the village. And so we're seeing some of that payoff there. There's also been some references and callbacks to stuff that Fugaku and the other Uchiha clan members had taught Sasuke when Sasuke was a child. Well, when Sasuke gets to this village, these people learn very quickly, do not irritate Sasuke and do not piss him off, because as Sasuke is beginning to ask questions about Itachi, he's trying to track down the shop that makes the medicine that Itachi had taken. Well, what Sasuke ends up finding out is that nobody wants to give him an answer. Instead, you have people that are coming up to him and they're trying to sell him all these different medicines, because Sasuke, over the span of the last few days, he's been having nightmares. He hasn't been sleeping. In his nightmares, he's seeing Itachi, or he's staying up at all hours of the night, because when he does go to sleep, he sees Itachi, or he has dreams about destroying the Hidden Leaf Village. He's conflicted about these dreams of turning on Naruto and the members of Team 7. So Sasuke has stayed awake for most of this time, and people have taken notice of it. And so yeah, people are doing snake oil salesmen, where they're saying, I can cure all your illnesses and ailments. One of the guys is like, hey young man, I got this oil that comes straight from Mount Miyaboku that is going to absolutely cure you of any of the ailments that you have, and you look like you haven't slept in days. And so Sasuke asks like, hey, where's this shop? And what ends up happening is nobody wants to tell him. So when one of the guards comes to Sasuke and says, you need to give me your sword because swords aren't allowed here. This is technically a ninja village, but we don't allow dangerous weapons. Sasuke says, if you take my sword from me, I am going to show you that I can destroy this entire village with just my hand. And if you're familiar with the Kirin Jutsu, you know that Sasuke probably could destroy this tiny village if he so pleased to do so. And Sasuke is looking for a fight, because he's gotten more and more irritated as his travels have gone on. And so Sasuke finally gets the guard to tell him everything he wants to know. And so what we end up finding out is that Sasuke is looking for a shop that is called Hypericum. And if you know anything about flowers, you know that that's actually something that's named after a plant. And I'll get into the symbolism on that once we get a little further into the conversation that Sasuke has with the guard here. But what we end up finding out is that nobody wants to go to that shop, because the drugs that are sold at the Hypericum shop are not only very potent, but according to the guard, anybody who takes them is asking for a death wish. And so that's the interesting thing right there. Essentially, the drugs that Itachi might have been taking, while they're very powerful, they're poisonous. And if you know anything about Hypericum berries are considered to be poisonous, and you're not supposed to ingest them at all, which is very fitting given the fact that Itachi was getting medicines from a shop that the medicine is so strong that it can kill the person that's taking it. So that's a little bit of symbolism there, but there's also more symbolism in what Hypericum itself actually symbolizes. So what I'm gonna do for you guys now is I'm gonna read this scene from the novel, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tie it together with the symbolism. And I really hope that this right here kind of gets some of you guys not only thinking about Sasuke, but also thinking about the extent that Itachi was truly willing to go through in order to keep himself alive long enough for him to be able to fight Sasuke, die at his hands, and ultimately give Konoha the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan, potentially the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and somebody who is willing to use that power of the Uchiha clan to be able to protect the village. So with the scene in context, finally being said. It's here I'm going to begin quoting. Next to the gate, there was a guard post. An officer was shouting and waving through the bullhorn. We don't discriminate against sick people in this village. We share medicines with everyone. However, being this is a neutral country, those who own forbidden weapons will be considered dangerous individuals and they will be severely punished, the guard had shouted. Suddenly, the man spoke to me. Hey, wait, you can't bring that sword with you. Leave it right here, the guard said. I gave him a glance. I have no intention of leaving it here. If you insist, you can take it away from me by force. I said, what? Are you rebelling against the orders? He shouted at me. I go where I want and I do as I want. I don't take orders from anyone. Moreover, this fear of weapons has no sense. I said, if you're strong enough to disarm me, then there's nothing to fear from this weapon. If on the contrary, you're not able to take my sword away from me, I'll show you how I can destroy this village with my bare hands, without needing this weapon at all. I said. The officer drew back ashamed. So what's the purpose of your visit? Supplying myself with medicines, I replied. How much time do you plan on staying here? 2 or 3 days. Which shop are you headed to? The Hypericum Shrine. I said. He stared at me intently from head to toe. So you too. No wonder you don't want to leave your weapon. When you have to do with the hypnotic illusionary medicine, there's no lack of problems. I'm not interested in that, I replied. Well, let me tell you a thing. Over the past year, the use of hypnotic illusionary medicine has been forbidden in our village. Recently, young people think that medicines are toys. The hypnotic illusionary medicine is an illegal drug that causes the malfunction of sight, hearing, and the 3 semicircular canals. Or at least, we classified it in this way inside of the village. It's known under several names: the pill of ascent, the powder of heaven, the pill of affection, the pill of perturbation, but it's only rubbish. If you ingest it without due precautions, you're a dead man, the guard said. At least this explained the merchant's attitude upon seeing my worn out face. They thought I had gone to the village to obtain the substance that I was addicted to. So how can I reach the Hypericum Shrine? I asked. Listen, death penalty is imposed even for the mere possession of that substance in this village, the man said. So why don't you denounce that shop then? I asked. Because most of the merchants use the hypnotic illusionary medicine in making their medicines. The main ingredients are plants and flowers grown in this zone, and owning them is certainly not a crime, the guard said. That made sense. In short, it's a capital offense. We're speaking on a whole different level compared to the possession of not allowed weapons, the guard said. After reiterating it, the officer pointed to the setting sun with an annoyed look. The Konoha Shrine is located to the west of the village, and the Hypericum Shrine is right behind it. End quote. So right there, what should really stand out to you is the fact that this drug, this hypnotic illusionary medicine, it's not only viewed as being illegal, but it has several different names. And the idea that it's in the Hypericum Shrine, the reason why I find it very interesting is the fact that Hypericums are a type of flower that they only stay alive when they're invasive for about 2 weeks. Now, why is that important? So with Hypericums symbolize the protection as well as the rebirth. And they're often associated with cheerfulness and inspiration. Well, the reason why I find this so interesting is the fact that they symbolize protection and rebirth. So look at Itachi Uchiha's legacy and what Itachi is trying to accomplish here. So Itachi wanted to protect Sasuke, and by taking these drugs that can kill him, Itachi was prolonging his life also he could protect Sasuke from Danzo, from inside the village, from the truth about the Uchiha clan that would get out if he learned the truth, and then also to protect Sasuke from Obito. Now, the rebirth portion of this is going to be going towards Sasuke, and this is how Sasuke and Itachi's destinies are really linked. So the reason why the symbolism works here is what Itachi wanted is that after he himself dies at the hands of the person that he is protecting, he's hoping that being the last person who had any real knowledge and attachments to the Uchiha clan's inner workings in terms of Itachi being a byproduct of the Uchiha clan and being inside of Konoha as everything went to hell in a handbasket, he's hoping that Sasuke can serve as the rebirth of the Uchiha clan. And Itachi had a very brilliant idea. So by implanting the Amaterasu seal into Sasuke's Sharingan, he was hoping that he'd be able to kill Obito. And so with Itachi passing away, if that Amaterasu had accomplished his goal and it had actually killed the man that he believed to be Madara Uchiha, there would be nobody left from the Uchiha clan who would know the truth about the Uchiha clan massacre, which means that the vision that he had for Sasuke would have been something that would have been a reality. And even if Sasuke found out the truth, Itachi had a backup plan with the Kotomasukami that he implanted into Naruto via that crow. So you really see here how Itachi was dead set on allowing for the rebirth of the Uchiha clan and allowing for that rebirth to be made possible because of Sasuke, which is part of what Sasuke himself wanted, was to serve as a vessel that can restore the honor of the Uchiha clan and restore the Uchiha clan altogether. So little did Sasuke know a lot of the stuff that he was walking through and a lot of his goals were goals that Itachi himself had set forward for his younger brother. And that's what I love right there, is just the brilliant symbolism that we have. When I first read this and I saw that the shrine was called the Hypericum Shrine, that's when I really kind of dug into the symbolism, because when you read Naruto, it's one thing if you have an understanding of some Asian religions and you understand the mythology and everything, but it's another thing when you start looking at the hidden meanings that are sprinkled all throughout the series. So Naruto as a series always talks about the hidden message behind the hidden message. Ninja must learn to see past deception. Names are always with double meanings. The idea behind Sakura, the meaning of her name, the idea behind Ino, that applies here with the Hypericum shop and with the medicines that Itachi is buying from that shop. And that's what I really love about this scene right here, is that everything is woven together in a very beautiful way. It leads to a very serious payoff in my opinion. So my question to you guys is, what do you guys think about this new information? Does this make you view Itachi's plans for Sasuke any differently? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.